So, can we ask you 73 questions?
Sure.
How are you?
I'm good.
How's your week been so far?
It's been very hectic, very stressful, but also exciting.
What did you eat for breakfast today?
Without being too on the nose, I had toast and tea, which is what I have most mornings.
If you were a genre of book, which genre would you be?
Probably fiction, because there's a lot less, you can just really work with a lot of different things, and there's not a lot of boundaries, and I like that in life. I like not having too many boundaries to deal with.
If you could have dinner with any fictional character, who would you choose?
Ooh, I could have dinner with any fictional character. It'd be cool to have. Oh, there's so many actually. Now that I'm like starting to run through them, let's have dinner with Jay Gatsby because it would be pretty cool to hang out in that really nice house. We'd have a lot to talk about.
What book are you currently reading?
I am kind of between books right now. I was looking forward to my classroom. I have been starting to read Stamped, which is a phenomenal book. I've been reading that. And I just finished up, well, I was actually rereading, but I was finishing up Educated by Tara Wisdom.
Very important question. Do you pour your milk first or your cereal first?
Oh, well, you got to pour your milk into your cereal.
Okay.
That's you got to have your cereal in the bowl and then pour them. Otherwise, you'd be crazy. You wouldn't be able to get. Oh, it'd be too much. There's too much math in the other version. You just got to eyeball it.
What is your favorite drink?
Tea.
What is one thing you wish you could tell your younger self?
If I could go back and tell my younger self, there's so many things I'd tell myself. I think one of them is, I always wanted an older sibling. So I think if I could go back and tell myself anything, it would be, you're doing okay. You're doing it right. You're headed in the right direction. I think I would like to hear some like positive affirmation of like, whatever's going on, it's going to be okay.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
I had a really great childhood. So probably somewhere in the summer of like elementary school age of just, there's absolutely no pressure. And like the biggest thing you have to figure out is who are you playing with that day and what you're having for dinner. Like those are like the biggest things on your agenda. And I kind of miss that simplicity.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
English.
What's your favorite memory made at Freedom?
Oh, favorite memory made at Freedom. I've had some amazing classes. So I would go in that direction, but I truly do love them all so equally in that way of like those important memories. Something that really changed me as a teacher was my first day, because it was really chaotic when my very first day of Freedom, and when I met Miss Klein. She was very important, and she's one of my favorite memories of Freedom.
If you could trade lives with any staff member at the school for a day, who would you choose?
I really like my own world, but if I had to, it'd be cool to be a counselor for a day. I'd like to see the other side of things. Like I know that they follow our schedule, but I'd like the being untethered, of being able to like travel and move around and interact with lots of different people one-on-one. That'd be very cool.
Which Hogwarts house do you belong to?
Oh, probably like everyone wants to be Gryffindor, but like you have to be pretty strong and bold. And I feel like that's probably not who I am. So I'm probably like Ravenclaw.
What's the best movie you've ever seen?
That's really hard. I'll tell you my most recent thing that I watched that I was like, this is so amazing, was when I watched Hamilton over the summer. So I'll go with that. I don't know if that counts as a movie, but
I count it.
Thanks.
If there's a TV show about your life, what would be its name?
I don't know, something to do with the misadventures of a teacher or something like that.
Who would you want to play you?
I couldn't play myself and become like this super famous person that has like and make a whole acting career and do that. That's what I do that myself. Why would I give away that role?
What are you most likely to become famous for?
Hopefully it's teaching. Hopefully I become a super, not in a sellout way, but in a like, that's what I become most known for, is I was able to change some people's worlds.
Ebooks or print books?
Print.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received is have faith in yourself.
What's the best advice you've ever given?
Have faith in yourself.
If you were forced to give up one of your senses, which one would you give up?
Probably taste. And I know that sounds weird, But like, I'm not one of those people that, I'm not a foodie in that way. So it doesn't really impact me. So I think I could probably get rid of taste and I'd be okay.
What is one time in your life that you had to take a complete leap of faith?
Oh, becoming a teacher.
What is your biggest fear?
Oh gosh, Karen, I have so many fears. My biggest fear is probably being forgotten. Yeah.
If you could solve any world issue, which would you solve?
Ooh. Trying to, like, I feel like they all build off of a hierarchy of one another. So like world peace would be a good place to start, because I think if we got some world peace going, then we could start to figure out like world hunger and a lot of the other issues that are going on.
If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy?
It would have to be something interesting. I feel like I would buy, I don't know what it would be. Okay, I don't have the item in my brain, but I know it would be a gift for somebody else. My favorite thing to do is give people gifts. It's like, I get so hyped. I don't love receiving gifts. I love giving them. So I would figure out something that someone close to me wanted, and I would buy that.
What's your favorite word in the English language?
God, and that's a tough question for an English teacher, because there's words that I like, I love the sound of, and then there's words that I love the feeling of. I think, because it's on my brain right now, I think passion is my favorite word.
Would you rather live in the city, the suburbs, or the country?
The city.
What's your favorite app on your phone?
Ooh. This is gonna sound super boring. Probably my Nike Run app, because that's the one I use every morning.
I use the Adidas Run app.
Gives me motivation. I like look at it and I'm like, oh, look how far I've come this week already. So yeah, it's probably my favorite app.
What is special about the place you grew up?
Well, it's not here, so I guess it makes it already a little unique. I grew up in a couple of countries, so like, but I think if we went back to where I was like originally from in Scotland, what makes that unique is not just the accent, obviously, but I think that's where my family is, right? So yeah, I don't have, I just have my parents here, but all the other family lives over there. So I guess that's what would make it special.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
What job have you had prior to this one?
You name it, I've probably done it. I've done so many different things. I've done retail, I've done food service, I have lifeguarded, tutored, run summer camps. Trying to think. I think the only thing I haven't done is anything in the medical field. I think that's like the only one I haven't dabbled in.
How did you decide to go into teaching?
That's a good question. My path here has taken lots of twists and turns. But I guess I got into teaching because I had another teacher in my life who told me that I would be good at it. And I really admired them and what they did for me. And I thought that it would be very cool to one day have that same influence on somebody.
What's your favorite thing about teaching?
The students.
If you could have any job besides teaching, what would it be?
I gotta give up teaching. That's like my favorite thing to do. Oh gosh. Before I was gonna be a teacher, I was gonna be a therapist. So I guess I'd be a therapist.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I'm kind of torn. I'd love to hear what people are thinking, but I think I'd also really love to know, because I change how I interact with people based on like a lot of like body language and mood and stuff like that. So I think it'd be really cool to figure out how people were feeling in that moment and then gauge my response to that.
If you could only eat 2 foods for the rest of your life, which 2 foods would you choose?
2 foods, huh? God, I should say something healthy, so then I'm like inspiring students to like eat healthy. But I really do love carrots. I mean, taking away my carrots would be like, that would be a problem for me. So carrots is definitely one of them. But then I'm like, what goes well with carrots if I'm like narrowed down to these 2 things? Probably carrots and then bread. not that they go together, but those are the 2 things I love the most.
What is your favorite place in the world and why?
My favorite place in the world, I could give you 2 answers for that. You could get the geographical location of like, oh, Paris, France was a place that I really liked when I visited. My favorite place in the world, though, is something that I feel like it changes. And I don't mean that in a vague way. I mean that in the sense of like, sometimes my favorite place in the world is just being with the people I love in a in a really cozy environment, right? That can be the best place in the world. But so was traveling to Paris. That was also a great time in my life. So take what you want from that answer.
What's next on your travel bucket list?
Ooh, past COVID, I guess. And once COVID's gone and all that, I've always wanted to fly to Australia. It's on my list of places I've always wanted to go.
Would you rather travel forward in time or back in time?
You know, both would be cool. I think I would love to travel back in time with the express ability to travel along someone's timeline, like being able to follow somebody. Like it'd be very cool for me to go back and see how like my grandparents or my great grandparents or something like that. I would totally do that. That'd be cool.
What are 2 truths and a lie about yourself?
I'm a dual citizen. I have 3 college degrees, and I have been on 4 cruises.
What's the proudest a student has ever made you?
I'm proud of my students every day. Like every day sets a new bar for me on their ability to adapt and change and grow. So I don't think I have a proudest moment because my job's not done yet, right? So come back and ask me when I'm like 85 and gray, and then I'll be able to tell you.
What's a skill or talent that most people at Freedom don't know you have? Bagpiping, right?
Is it a skill to be able to listen to bagpiping without crying? Because is that a skill? I have that. I guess a skill that I have. I don't know if it's a skill or a talent, but it's something that I do. I really love doing birth order. Like I like figuring out, oh, you're an only child, or you're a firstborn, or you're a part of a family of 4, or whatever. So I like doing that. I don't know if that's a skill or a talent, but.
What is something you believed earlier in your career but think differently about now?
That testing is the best way to measure student growth.
What is something you believed earlier in your career that is still true?
If you don't care about what you're doing, you will never convince students to care about what they're doing.
If time and money were not a factor, what's a skill you'd like to learn?
Oh, there's so many things I would love to be really good at. I would love to be really proficient in a language. I took 6 years of French, and I'm not very good at it. I would love to be able to like know and be able to communicate in another language. That'd be very cool.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
What's the best thing that happened to you so far today?
Best thing that's happened to me so far. It's a weird day to ask me that. I mean, I guess we could start this. I was up really late last night / this morning, so it would be the small hours of the morning. But I had a really good moment of being able to like self-reflect on some of the stuff that I'm going to hopefully do this week and things that I've been doing in the past, and it was really neat, and it set me up to still be thinking about it throughout the day. But it really helped me feel grounded. So
conversely, what's the worst thing that happened to you so far today?
Girl, have you got a while? No, it's a worst thing. I come to school to teach most days of the week. I think every day that I come into school and my classroom's empty, that's usually the worst part of my day.
What are 3 things you can't live without?
3 things I can't live without. I mean, and we could go with like the basic needs of like food, shelter, water. I don't know. That seems like a terrible answer, but it is 3 things and I can't live without it. So
What's your favorite book you've ever read?
I was hoping for an easy softball question. I've been fortunate enough to read so many great books. I think my favorite book that I've loved to read, but I never have gotten to teach, is The Book Thief.
If all people in the world could be lumped into 2 groups, what would they be?
You can't do that. You can't make them go into 2 groups. That'd be the worst. Everyone has the capacity for both things.
That's a very deep answer. What is the most annoying question people ask you?
In my school professional life, is this graded? Is this a summative? How many points is this? Sorry, that's several things. All of those grouped into one.
What's your favorite board game?
I used to really love this is, I mean, I'm going back. It's been a long time since I've done this. I used to really love, I played lots of cool board games actually, thinking about it. I always liked Trivial Pursuit as a board game. That was always fun for me.
How would you define yourself in 3 words?
I am, nope, that's hard. I guess I could just go with adjectives of being, this is hard, Karen. This is a tough one. I don't know 3 words about myself. I guess educator, daughter. Those are my roles, I guess. And then misdirected. I'm often misdirected.
What's the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life?
Oh, genuinely, and I don't mean this to be cheesy, but it is being a teacher.
If you could only listen to one song on repeat constantly for the rest of your life, which song would it be?
It'd have to be a good one. I'd pick like, and this isn't because I would pick like a really long piece of classical music, because then at least I could like break up the day a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I could listen to like some parts and have a lot more options. Whereas if I picked a song from like 2020, I'd have like 2 minutes, 15 seconds. That'd be it. I'd be listening to that forever. So a nice piece of classical music that had like different movements woven in, so then I could at least pause and chunk my day that way.
What animal would you want to be reincarnated as?
It would be really cool to actually suburban dog. Why am I trying to? Suburban dog would be fantastic. Best life ever.
What question would you most like to know the answer to?
Why do bad things happen to good people?
What is something you think everyone should do at least once in their life?
Travel by yourself.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
What's your favorite dessert?
Cake. Any kind. Sheet cake. My fave.
Christmas or Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, because I do celebrate Christmas. So like Thanksgiving's like a nice warm up, and you've like seen everybody, and you're still like, but it's not over. Like Christmas is tough because it's like such a, you know, when it's done, and you're like, oh, I gotta wait another 365 days. Whereas like Thanksgiving, you still get hyped for Christmas.
What's the best gift you've ever received?
I'm not gonna go materialistic on that because I just don't believe that's true. I think the best gift I've received from so many people is their patience and their friendship.
Are you more of a morning person or a night owl?
Bit of both. I do like, I'm proud of myself when I get up in the morning and like I go running and I do my thing and I'm like, yeah, I've already had my day and it's only 8. So awesome. But I do think there is merit. When I do my work, I do work into the night. That is true.
If you could have tea with anyone in the world, who would it be with?
I could have tea, which is great because I love it. I love a cup of tea. It'd be so cool to have tea with I'd really love to just talk to Martin Luther King Jr. That'd be super cool to talk to.
What's the best type of tea?
Oh, English breakfast. Well, that's not true. Irish breakfast is the best, but I'll take English breakfast.
What are you most excited about for the school year?
I'm so excited for tomorrow, for the pilot to see the people that have been on the other side of the computer, because a lot of the people I have tomorrow I've never had before in class. So I'm just so excited to like actually meet them.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
I don't like people who like bite. Like I do bite my nails, but like I don't like people who like will do it and then the sound, it drives me crazy.
What's your favorite smell?
There's a smell that happens I don't know when it is, but it's the first day of like fall, like real fall, and you like step outside and it just there's just like an autumn like scent that just hits you straight in the face. I love that smell.
What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life, I guess, is to find joy and energy and satisfaction from everything that you can do. I don't know.
And finally, who do you want to do 73 questions next?
Good question. That's what I knew. Because I feel like we get to see like one side of him. I would love for Mr. King to do our questions next.